So Tony, is that our old family slide collection?
Absolutely. This was me mowing.
This is good stuff.
What year was that, Tony?
That was actually about 1960. This is my old slide collection. Don't you like it?
That's
Hey
right.
guys, I have you. Look at this. I have the old photos. I even have Lonnie's high school graduation photo from
Junior high.
1942.
Oh, we didn't know you graduated, actually.
Good.
I don't know. I have some of Tony when he was 6 months old with some of his family members.
Careful.
Look at that.
They used to call me elephant ears back then, so I don't like those pictures.
Wow. Photography is so important. It's important in our daily life. We capture big moments, weddings, babies, but it's very important to our building industry, taking pictures of the process, of the finished product for our clients to see.
Yeah, we've had tons and tons of photos throughout the years for Granite Ridge Builders. This is how we show clients what we could do for them, for the outside, inside, all over their house.
You know, I don't know what I would do without pictures now. We have so many that we can show clients and they bring to us. It really helps in the design field. Be able to decorate, just be able to see all the pictures that they like the ideas of.
Yeah, and do you guys know how we actually got these pictures? It's pretty easy, really. Basically what it is the photo film, the film was a light sensitive material, so it passed through the lens when the shutter opened and then burned that light onto the film as a negative image, and then you could develop it later on.
Wow.
And you know, it's amazing what we've done over the last few years, because from 1978, which was when the first autofocus camera came around, to now we have everything on our phones, on our iPads. I mean, we used to have literally shelves of these photo books all over the office. Now we just pull out the iPad and just show them what everything is.
This is exactly what we do in every appointment with our homeowners, is just show all the pictures so they have a great idea of what their house could look like.
Sounds like we use pictures to build memories and also houses then, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Photos are important.
Yeah, I think all the kind of photographs that you guys are talking about, those are kind of passe. All I care about is now I can use my phone to do anything. Heck, I can even pull up pictures on my watch. It's that quick.
Izzy, why are you being so negative?
Negative. Oh,
Negative?
that was horrible, Tony. Hey, why don't you guys watch the rest of these films with us? This is good slides. That was Disney. Oh, yeah. Okay, Lonnie, Izzy, let's set up for the Camera History Museum here. So let's go from the oldest there to the newest over here on cameras. I think the audience is going to find this really interesting today. We're going to talk a little bit about camera history. We're also going to talk about photography and how it affects new construction. So Lonnie, would you go ahead and open up for us?
Hey, welcome to Between the Studs. My name's Lonnie Norris, and this is some of my co-workers at Granite Ridge Builders, including Tony Ranke, our president. We build custom homes in northern Indiana, parts of northwest Ohio, and also southern Michigan. We enjoy sharing with you all the many things that are involved in our very busy, interesting business. You know, there's a little saying that says a picture is worth 1,000 words. I think it has something to do with what we're going to do today, right?
Absolutely. Photography is so important to our business. Granite Ridge has embraced that word. So let's talk a little bit about maybe the history of photography. Anybody know some of the beginning points? When did it start?
Well, one of the first things we can really thank the French for a lot of our photography. The first known camera photograph that has actually been saved is from 1826. Wow. And then actually the first camera a shot that was saved with a human being in it was from 1838, also done in Paris.
Wow. So photography as we know it, though, started out in the 1830s, like we've said, but it was really something more for the rich and the professional. It wasn't until the late 1880s that we started seeing it amongst the masses, and that was with Kodak.
Oh. And the first president ever photographed was President Lincoln in 1860. And you guys remember those days when they put that big black sheet over the camera and boom, something exploded. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, going back to Kodak, in 1888, George Eastman, who started Kodak, actually patented the first roll of film, and then in 1890 he actually started the Kodak business, and I bet you guys can't guess why it's named Kodak.
Makes sense. Eastman, Kodak.
Yep. He actually thought that the sound of the shutter going off was Kodak. That's what he heard when it actually went off. So.
I don't hear that. Huh.
Yep. And then the word photograph actually got shortened to photo in 1860 by Queen Victoria when she was writing a letter to her husband.
And Queen Victoria loved photography so much that she was known to have the first darkroom. Speaking of darkroom camera, does anyone know how the word camera came about? It's actually camera obscura, which means dark chamber. And so those came together, and she had the first darkroom and chamber, also known as camera now.
And as we've mentioned, photography is so important to new home construction. We take hundreds of pictures of each home. It's important from the beginning to the end so that we have reference or we have pictures to show people when they come in and want to build. And that's really changed. I remember going out to houses and using the floppy disk camera, and you can only take 6 pictures. Now it's easy. We've got the wide angle lens camera, just upload it to the computer, and even easier is our phone. So you can send something instantly to your client.
Wow, cameras and photography have really evolved over the last 100 years. Stay tuned. What we're going to do next is we're going to talk a little bit about some of that history, but we're also going to show you some pictures that we've taken of some of our really special and remarkable homes, and we're going to give you a little snippet on what it takes to build a new home and the changes and how we use that photography to our benefit. All right, guys, let's pick your parts and we'll see you in a second.
Hey, Tony, you want to see some film?
Wait, that's Lonnie's picture. That's Lonnie's of his wedding.
I've been exposed.
Oh, you can't use that now. No,
I can't do it.
I hope you've enjoyed all the photography we've shown you so far, because photography and Granite Ridge go hand in hand. It's a huge part of our business.
Yes. Since day one that I've started Granite Ridge, Izzy, we have used numerous pictures. We've taken pictures all the time of the nearly 4,700 homes that we have built at Granite Ridge. And those are constantly being added to as we build more homes.
From start to finish, there's tons of photography going on at all times. And now, as we get to start with clients, we actually encourage them to bring some photos into us as well. Things that they've seen that they like from Pinterest, from Houzz. And of course, if you go to graniteridgebuilders.com, you can create a login and save photos of all the homes that Granite Ridge has built.
I had a great example of that, Izzy. I had someone that wanted to come in the other night for an appointment, and they wanted something specific for a porch that they saw at a friend's house. Yeah. So they brought me this picture so we know exactly how to design that porch. Not only did they have that picture, but they also had a wonderful picture of a fireplace with an old kind of ancient beam that they had, which they wanted us to try to duplicate also.
To be able to build the perfect home, we have to have the right resources, and photography does play a huge part in that. It also has a huge part when we try to decide where someone might be building. We take things like the drone out for a flight, we can go out in person and take a photography picture of a site, and we can decide whether or not this is a great place to build a home.
Absolutely. Why don't we kind of go out, Izzy, right now and let's practice on that drone.
We've got expert eyes photos coming for you next, and let's go ahead and practice. A little camera right there.
Love it. Sounds great.
Great work.
Elizabeth, you and I sit in a lot of open houses, and we have a lot of meetings where people actually bring pictures into us to show us what they're really trying to strive for in their new home. Sometimes we ask them what they like about the picture, and they say, not really sure, we just like the whole picture. So why don't we dissect a few of these and kind of point out a few stuff?
Sure. Some details of this particular great room are, of course, the fireplace. This is a wider fireplace with a subway tile. The hearth is actually granite. We have some beautiful corbels that are holding up the mantle. And then there's built-ins on the side, adding a unique feature. There's actually mirrored shelving and mirrors behind it.
The next house that I have to look at here is really a lot of that arts and crafts movement, because when you're looking at the flooring in this house, you see a lot of different color variations into it. You see a different type of wall cover with high ceilings, which really gives you a lot of flexibility with artwork and different pieces you can put up there. Plus that floor to ceiling stone fireplace really makes that room pop.
Now this particular great room also has a fireplace, but it's in the corner, and the stone is actually taken to the mantle height. This also has some big picture windows, and these are actually longer. So for example, if you're on a pond, you can take better advantage of that view. Another feature is the flooring. Instead of doing carpeting in the flooring, we have done a laminate wood and put a rug down.
The next house is really in particular because it's on the lake. So we really have the high windows plus low windows, so you have that great lake view. You've got the wood strut that goes in there that actually give you a little separation in this open concept. Then you have the stone fireplace, which really takes over that whole side of the room. And then the high ceiling cutaway, so you have those really beautiful windows to just bring that lake view all the way in.
Now this great room has 10-foot ceilings, and you can see those were incorporated through the kitchen and nook as well. It has a popular color on the wall, Mega Greige. We do a lot of that. And then once again, we've got some large windows with some transoms. And I would say Choice Designs did a great job staging this one between the window treatments and the furnishings.
This house, I love the trimscaping that they've done throughout this room with the high crown molding, with the high ceiling to make it look even bigger. You have the columns that are posted onto the sides. The neat thing about this room also is there's actually bookshelves that are hid within the side of that fireplace to show it. You have a nice, quaint, cozy room that butts up into this open concept with the kitchen and the nook, and it's just fantastic for living.
Ceilings can really change the dynamic of a room, and this is a great example. This is a coffered ceiling, but it's a little bit different than what we're used to, and these coffers are actually drywall, and then the ceiling is painted the same color of the walls. We also have the fireplace, which is centered on the wall with a manufactured stone surround, and once again, some large windows with transoms.
When you're looking at putting together these rooms and these pictures and you really want to get an idea why maybe you like it more than you think you do, bring it to us and let our expert eyes take a look at it.
So Kayla, today we're talking about the importance of photography and photos in our business.
Yep.
And as I understand it, it's also very important when it comes to like flooring options and countertop options and even maybe cabinet front options. Explain that to me.
So that's actually how we get a lot of our amazing finishes on the floorings and cabinets and countertops like you had mentioned. So what they're going to do is they're going to take a picture of the real wood or the real product and then put it on a veneer, which you could do that with a laminate or a veneered cabinet or something like that. They're going to take a picture of wood and superimpose it on it, and that's how we get the amazing finishes we have.
And here's some of the laminates behind you. It looks like these are really incredible choices for customers today.
Exactly. There's so many different flooring types that use this type of process. You have it for your sheet vinyls. It is amazing how the texture and pictures have come on our sheet vinyls. I mean, they really do look like real wood, and honestly, sometimes better because of the properties of that kind of flooring material. So you have that for your vinyls, you have that for your laminate flooring. And so these laminate floorings, again, the texture, colors, patterns are really...
Looks like a real tree.
It does.
It
really is. So it's even better than solid wood in some cases, depending on where you're going to put it.
Okay. So again, they're taking pictures of the real thing and somehow transforming it into floor coverings and also countertops?
Exactly. So it's not just the floor coverings, it is the countertops as well. And you have some of these here where we have the high definition finishes that they take a picture of a stone or a marble and they're putting it on a laminate sort of a finish for your countertops. And then they put another kind of texture or finish on it to sparkle or have a little bit of a hone finish where you can feel it's raised up a little bit to make it more realistic. So between the pictures and the finishes, it really enhances the product.
I think I see something really cool too back there on some of that subway tile, or not necessarily subway tile, but tile.
Yes.
Backsplash.
So you even have pictures in mosaics and tiles. So take a look at that here. You have a really awesome picture of London. It looks like. If you're into that sort of a thing, there's all sorts of other ones that they can put on tiles now too.
Could they put my picture in there?
They could, but
That may be the line we don't want to cross.
Probably. I don't know if I'm going to put that in the next model yet, but I'll think about it.
Exciting stuff.
Elizabeth, when we were researching all of this stuff about cameras and photography, there was one stat that I came across that I found really interesting. So there's someone who actually collects cameras and he lives in India. He owns 4,425 cameras. I can't imagine what he does with all of them, but that's a large amount of cameras. And speaking of cameras, it's really important to have a nice camera or really nice phone to take your photos, especially of the exterior of the house.
It is. That's probably one of the biggest things that people come in with is pictures of fronts of homes because the curb appeal is so important. Now this particular home, Kayla, has some different features on it. The big thing is the roof line. This would be called a gable roof. Some other features on this home are the carriage style garage doors, which are really popular. We have some shake on the front, manufactured stone, a nice front porch, and probably a big feature of this home is the front door.
I love this home here. The window sizes are really nice. The landscaping is something that accents the home itself. It's great. You know, this home here was our parade home a couple years ago, and it was a huge hit. I love the fact that it's a side load garage, kind of masks the garage if you don't want to see it, and it creates for a nice long driveway.
This particular garage we would call an interior side load. Some other accents on the front are the gable dormer, and that's actually a faux, so it's there for looks because this is a ranch style or a one-level home. Other accents would include the combination of the manufactured stone and the shake siding, and then we have a variety of windows and grid styles in this home.
Now this one here was another one of the parade winners that we had in a couple years ago, the parade home. I love the front door in this. It has some nice wrought iron detail, but I think the one we got the most comment about would be the metal roof over that front porch. It's a standing seam metal roof in kind of a burgundy color, but my favorite feature of this house is the brick. We have some great coin corners, which means that the corners pop out on the sides a little bit, and it's a great, the brick is actually an oversized brick to make the scale of this house fit really well.
It also has a few other details like the keystones and the double row brick around the windows and the garage doors.
You know, this house here is a great craftsman style house. The fun thing that they did on this, they mixed the brick and the stone. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see at the very top of the plinth row, which means that the stone or brick is a little bit lower and only goes about halfway up on the house. They started with a soldier course of brick, and then they finished the rest of it off with manufactured stone. Now, Elizabeth, I love this house, especially for the front porch detail. We have a really great wrought iron front porch rail that blends in with this house, and I love the top that we have the frieze board with the dentile molding to create a little bit of texture around the house.
Now, this home in particular also has a gable roof, but on the front porch, we've actually hipped it. So there is a combination of two different roof styles. There's also the gable dormer that's over the side load garage, and then in the side, you could see we have a little detached or auxiliary garage with also the carriage style doors.
I think one of the things that makes this house really pop are the window grill styles. These are casement windows, but for a country style house, everyone wants that double hung look. And so we did grills that are modified colonial, and that means it just is going to be halfway up to make it look like a double hung window, but it's still a casement function. This home has a really great feature called gable struts. So in all of the gables, you have that sort of truss feature that creates a nice contrast between the dark shake that is behind it or the stone on the other parts of the home. And the other detail that is really nice are the porch posts and coloring it a little something different in that picture panel.
We could spend a lot of time on this particular home. This has an all brick front, and some features would be the accent color of brick on our coin corners. We've also done a triple row of brick around the windows and the garage doors. Again, we have keystones above the windows and the garage doors as well. Another feature are the return soffits, and we have quite a few of these.
You know, I really love the arch window details. Helps that triple row of brick really stand out. And again, that brick being in two different colors on all the accents make for a magnificent front of this house. And what's really important about this photo is the time of day that it was taken with the lighting. So you can really see all that soffit lighting coming down on the house to make a beautiful picture.
One of the biggest apprehensions I think that homeowners have with building is that they don't have the ability to visualize their dream home on that piece of property. And with photography, that has completely been blown to smithereens because we have ways of showing them exactly what their dream home is going to look like before we even break that first shovel full of dirt.
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing people come in and have pictures of would be exteriors of homes and other parts of their home, but exterior is a huge one. I mean, there's so many samples around our showroom that are this big. I mean, they're so small. It's really hard to understand what that's going to look like on a grand scale. So what I love to do is take this iPad and show people all sorts of different color schemes that we have already come up with and to see everything together in one spot.
Yeah, because exteriors, I mean, people don't have to go inside homes to see that. They're driving through neighborhoods, going to visit a friend, they see a house they like, they stop real quick, pull out their phone, take a picture, and they bring it back to you. And
Exactly. We have so many different options here that we can typically duplicate something like that.
Yeah. Now, we got some examples in our showroom here that actually takes photography into play, which we can show them a lot of different samples without having to leave here and go around and drive around and look at how those look. Like the front doors, for example. Thermometry has a great display here. Can you show them what this does?
Absolutely. So I love it when people have an idea that they want glass in their door because we get to use this here. So again, hard to visualize what glass is going to look like in a door, and there are so many different options. And with glass, you want to really be careful of the opacity rating, so how clear or how obscure that glass is.
So what you mean is there's actually a picture in this corner, a plant here. As we're scrolling through this, you can see, does that become clearer or harder to see? So that's what you mean by that rating.
Exactly, and that's what this display really helps with, not just the style of the glass, but how clear or not clear that it is. And the great thing is you can even change the K-mean.
The K-mean, so yeah, right here, as you're flipping through that, the K-mean, which is the little metal parts that hold the glass together, that's the K-mean.
Exactly, and it makes a huge difference in how the overall look is. So this display really helps take the guessing work out of what that door is going to look like.
Right. Now with our iPads, we have several apps at our disposal. Like, you know, when we look at the showroom here, we got little tiny, you know what these are? These are actually shutters, which obviously this isn't going to fit around any window.
No.
So we have the ability to change colors, change the shutters, and again, help them visualize what the house is going to look like with different options.
Definitely. So I love all the apps that are available out there with all the manufacturers. Sherwin-Williams has a really great one here. So shutters, siding, you can play around with all sorts of the different features on a home. And you know what? A lot of people love blue houses right now. But you know what? Someone might have been debating about red. What would that look like on my house? Something like that right there, if you like all that white trim, or you know what, I'm in, you know, the woods and I'd really like it to blend in with nature and be more of a green color. And again, it just takes the guesswork out of what that house is going to look like and makes it a lot less overwhelming.
Another thing that we can do with photos is our stonemasons can actually manufacture stones based off of color. So let's say somebody just has their favorite color and they want to tie it in with their stone. They can actually implement that into the stone layout and they can manufacture it specific to them.
Absolutely. Photography has really taken what we do for the outsides of homes and other parts of the home to the next level to be able to make it perfect for you.
Yeah, and again, that visualization, it's huge, and we have the tools here to be able to help them, you know, realize that dream.
We're talking about photography today, and it has so impacted our industry. And I was reading that in 1924, AT&T sent the first picture by wire, a short distance, and then after that came the television.
Yeah, Lonnie, I know from my perspective, actually physically building the house, it has changed how we do things tremendously. I know we spent some segments talking about the design phase and the upfront phase, but we're actually communicating. You mentioned it early on that a picture's worth 1,000 words. We're actually communicating through pictures through a thing called Builder Trend.
Let's talk about it, Luke, how we use Builder's Trend to communicate with customers and how customers actually communicate back to us.
Yeah, so Builder Trend it's a web-based program, and all of our homeowners get their own private username and password. And we're a full disclosure company, so we're actually taking pictures throughout the process of the home, updating the homeowners through that. So we're talking about the day we break ground all the way to the finish. It can be upwards of 300 pictures that we're uploading, and the homeowners have the option of uploading those pictures too. So we have some that have 800 pictures, all stored on that web-based program.
I'm kind of simple-minded, so we're talking about Builder's Trend. We're talking about an app that they can download for free.
Yep.
And then they're actually going to follow the progress of their home.
Yep.
And there's this area where there's pictures?
Yes, correct. So let's say you're out of town, but you're building a house here, you're relocating here, or maybe you go on vacation, maybe you work, you know, from 8 to 5, and that's when most of the construction's taking place. When we're out there in the field, we take a few pictures of an update. You know, it's one thing just to get, you know, an email that says, oh, the framers are here today. It's another thing when you get an update from Builder Trend that says you have 4 or 6 or 8 more photos uploaded. You get on, you start flipping through those in the office or when you're on vacation, and you can actually see the framing go up, be up, you know, across your eyes. And like I said, worth 1,000 words. So right there, that's potentially 8,000 words without actually saying anything.
So so the customer can see those pictures, but then they can also take pictures and send them to us?
Yeah, they can communicate back to us. So, you know, we're the experts, and we understand that when a homeowner is building with us, they may see some things along the process that they may not recognize. So they can actually take a picture of it, they can actually draw on it, write on it, circle it, send it to us and say, hey, what is this? Because they might not even have the vocabulary to communicate back to us, and then we can explain it back to them by either taking a picture of what it's going to look like once it's finished, or, you know, explain to them what the process or the purpose of that item is.
So we're answering a bunch of questions and probably even resolving some problems through pictures. Who would have ever thought?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we mentioned, Pinterest, house, all that, they bring in those pictures. We put those pictures on their account on Builder Trend, and then there's could be upwards of 1,000 people that touch that house in one way or another, between suppliers, manufacturers, our subcontractors, us. That picture's tied to their thing, so that gets distributed through all that, creating a lot less issues. Before, we used to have to type up what we tried to explain it. Now we can just look at the picture and say we want to mimic that, and we build it to those standards.
Builder Trend. Show me again how to unload or download that.
Yeah, it's really user-friendly, Lonnie.
Tony, we are having a blast looking at this old Concordia yearbook. Weren't you the photographer back then?
Actually, I really was. For 2 years, I was a class photographer, and back then, I don't know about this, but they used to call me kind of a nerd. Oh, sorry.
You know what?
Sorry. Hey, Lonnie, let's talk a little bit about what these cameras are and maybe when they were invented.
Well, I know my dad had one of these in the 1950s, and it's called a Polaroid, and you take a picture, wait a few seconds, out came the picture, and then you'd rub this smelly stuff on it, and within 30 seconds you had a nice picture.
I remember that.
And then along came the family video camera.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, these were big deals. If you had one of these, you had arrived.
Yes.
To catch all those family gatherings.
Yep, my great-grandfather had that. By the way, I bet you can't guess how this works. You
wind
crank
it
it
up?
like this.
Okay. Was it 40s or 50s? When did they come out?
Yeah, this was about the 50s or so.
All right.
This was special stuff.
That was.
And I remember this. Then it proceeded to slides. Most
Oh,
people don't
yeah.
remember these. I took a lot of these. I probably got about 20 boxes at home. Most of these were upside down.
Always.
You put them on a screen like we showed at the very first part of the show. But this was really my favorite.
My favorite is probably the 8mm that we have right over here. You could take those videos and then you could pop them on here with your 2 different reels, and it had that distinct sound that you knew it was movie time as soon as you heard that.
Okay.
And you could put the big bed sheets up against the wall, so you could actually have your very first big screen.
Yep.
And then we got some of the more modern stuff. We actually came up with the video camera that you could hold almost on your shoulder to, how about the ones that were at the weddings where you put them on the table so everybody could take their wedding pictures, or what I even like best, especially for Florida, is the underwater.
Underwater.
And now my favorite is the phone, because I am not a photographer. It's the easiest for me to use.
In fact, now you've got videos on that. You can take still photos, and you can do how many on one little thing? I think probably unlimited now, especially when it goes to the cloud. Hopefully you found this really, really fun today. Kayla, would you close for us?
Thank you all so much for joining us today. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do so well, please visit our website, give us a call, even better yet, come in the front door. We'd love to meet you and show you all of the amazing photography of homes that we've done to help you build your new dream house.
Rachel, Dave, were you making fun of me again?
Seriously.
Dad,
Come on, Tony.
I can see why they called you big ears. Is this really you?
You know what? But I grew into those ears, just so you know. It
I
really
don't
wasn't
know.
that bad. I am still scarred from that, by the way.
There's a little saying that says a picture takes 1,000 words, or whatever it is.
Picture takes it out.
Welcome to Between the Studs. I'm Lonnie Norris, and this is part of the
Granite Ridge.
I think you just go.
We work at Granite Ridge. Hey, welcome to Between the Studs. My name's Lonnie Norris, and this is part of some of our, yes.
It wasn't until about 1888 that we actually started having photography to the masses, and that was with Kodiak.
And I know our first.
Oh, no. You knew he was going to do that.
Kodak. Kodiak's the bear, and Kodak's the camera.
I hope you've enjoyed all the It is, I'm telling you, man, the struggle bus is real.
So, Kayla. Hey, please be quiet.